Sup guys, it's Alex here, and welcome to the February 5th edition of the Bracketology update. Before I get to the bracket real quick, I just wanted to go ahead and give you guys an update and talk about the YouTube situation. YouTube sent out an email, I think like middle of January, talking about how channels need to reach 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time in the past year to remain a YouTube partner. Right now I have over the 4,000 hours of watch time, but I do not have the 1,000 subscribers. Right now I have 866, and so I made a video a couple weeks ago talking about it and said that if I get 1,000 by February 20th, which is that cutoff day, then I will be doing an NCAA tournament ticket giveaway. So if you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. Get as many of your friends to subscribe as possible, and I'll be giving away an NCAA tournament ticket if I do reach that goal. We have 15 days left. We need 134 subscribers. Hopefully we can get it, but let's go and get into the bracketology. So after a weekend of quite a few upsets, we had Duke getting upset by St. John's, Kansas losing to Oklahoma State at home, Kentucky losing to Missouri, teams like that. Arizona, I think, lost to Washington, I want to say, and then Louisville lost at home to Florida State, just stuff like that. We have some movement in the bracket. Xavier is now up to a 1 seed, taking the place of Kansas, who is now down to a 2 seed over there. Duke remains a 2 seed. Michigan State and Auburn remain as 2 seeds as well. And then we got Texas Tech moving up to a 3 seed. Florida and Arizona State are trending downwards. They're the 8 and the 9 seeds. Missouri is new to the bracket after beating, I think, Alabama on the road, and then Kentucky at home. And then so on the bubble right here, last 4 byes are Washington, who had a huge week. They are now safely in as of right now. Houston, USC, Providence. Last 4 in are Kansas State, North Carolina State, Boise State, and Virginia Tech. Then the first 4 out of the tournament are Marquette, UCLA, Nebraska, and SMU. And then the next 4 out waiting on there is Western Kentucky, who might have blown their chance at an at-large bid with a loss to, I think it was UTSA, and then St. Bonaventure, Syracuse, and Maryland. And so if you've been watching my videos for a while, you know that I create a bracket that you guys can go ahead and vote on. The link for this will be in the description. I put in the bracket as of the bracketology that Joe Lunardi does. Make it on this site so you guys can go ahead and vote. I made it about maybe 6 hours ago at noon, and it already has over 1,000 votes, so that's pretty awesome to see. And so let's go ahead and get right into it. I'll just be giving some quick analysis and thoughts on these matchups, and we'll see what happens. You guys can vote on it by clicking the link in the description. So we'll have Villanova beating the winner of UNC Asheville, Savannah State. That's pretty obvious. Then Florida State in a landslide over TCU with the voting. I'm going to go with Florida State moving on there. Same with Kentucky. Then I think that I'm going to go with an upset here, starting off Vermont. I'll be the second person to pick them over North Carolina. If they can shut down Luke May and Joel Berry, then they'll be good to go. I think Vermont gets the upset there. Then Seton Hall will beat Houston. Texas Tech will beat Bucknell. Nobody's picked Bucknell to win that game. Then I think that Washington will beat Nevada. Nevada is one of the best mid-major teams in the nation. Just don't like that matchup there. Michigan State's going to beat Pennsylvania. Xavier will beat Wagner. Florida will beat Arizona State, who was once a 1 seed. Or I think in January, at the first January bracket. And then this matchup right here is interesting. I think New Mexico State had beaten Miami, Florida earlier in the season in one of those like early season Bahamas brackets or something like that, preseason tournaments. But I'm gonna have to go with Miami, Florida moving on there, though that's been an upset pick so far. Oklahoma will move past South Dakota State. I think that St. Mary's will beat NC State, who will beat Kansas State. So St. Mary's will move on there. Arizona will beat Montana. Butler will beat Arkansas. Duke will beat Rider. Virginia will beat Florida Gulf Coast. I think that Colin Sexton and the Alabama Crimson Tide will move past Texas there. Wichita State will beat Louisiana Lafayette. Ohio State will beat East Tennessee State. Rhode Island will beat USC. Cincinnati will beat Belmont. Then I think that Middle Tennessee will upset Creighton, and so do most people. Then Auburn will beat Wright State. Purdue will beat the winner of Arkansas Pine Bluff and Nichols. Louisville will beat Texas A&M, who's also starting to fall off, though they're starting to gain some traction, so we'll see what happens there. West Virginia will beat the winner of Boise State and Virginia Tech, the other playing game. Tennessee will beat Buffalo, and then Gonzaga will beat Providence. Clemson will beat Charleston. I think Michigan will beat Missouri, and then Kansas will beat UC Santa Barbara. So for a trip to the Sweet 16, we have Villanova beating Florida State, Kentucky beating Vermont, and then I think that Texas Tech will beat Seton Hall. Michigan State will beat Washington. Xavier will beat Florida. Then I think that Miami, Florida will beat Oklahoma there. Nobody's picked Miami, Florida to beat them. I think they'll be able to shut down Trae Young and move on there. Arizona will beat St. Mary's. Then Duke will beat Butler. Virginia will beat Alabama. Ohio State with Bates Diop, I think is his name, will beat Wichita State. Cincinnati will beat Rhode Island. Auburn will beat Middle Tennessee, though a lot of people are picking Middle Tennessee to upset Auburn there. Purdue will beat Louisville for the second time this season. West Virginia will beat Tennessee. Clemson will beat Gonzaga. Ooh, look at this right here, 11-11. Michigan as a 7 seed, right there even with the 2 seed Kansas. As much as I hate Kansas and I'd love to see Michigan pull off that upset there, gotta go with Kansas moving on past them. Then I'm a huge Kentucky fan, but I gotta go with Villanova. I feel pretty confident putting Kentucky towards the Sweet 16 there, but I think that's as far as they go. Villanova's a much better team than Kentucky is at this point in the season. I think that Michigan State will beat Texas Tech. Xavier will beat Miami, Florida. Duke will beat Arizona. Virginia will beat Ohio State. Cincinnati will beat Auburn. And then Purdue will beat West Virginia. Clemson will beat Kansas, in my opinion. And then, wow, this is pretty even right here. Villanova and Michigan State. This is another one that could flip-flop either way depending on how matchups go. I'm going to go with Michigan State moving on. They were trying to find themselves earlier around like January, late December, trying to figure out who they were as a team, but now they're starting to figure it out. Then Duke will beat Xavier. Virginia will beat Cincinnati, and then Purdue will beat Clemson. Then, for a spot in the national championship game, we have Michigan State versus Duke. This had been the national championship matchup in most of the November brackets that I did. I'm going to go with Duke moving on there, though most people have picked Michigan State moving on there. Then by an overwhelming majority here, we got Virginia moving on past Purdue. And then in the national championship game, we have Duke versus Virginia. Just like what happened a couple weeks ago at Cameron Indoor Stadium, Virginia is going to beat Duke. So there you have it. I think that Virginia is going to win at this point. I'll go and check the results so far of the bracket. Most people have picked Virginia to move on by far. They've got 11 votes for the national championship game, 114 total, outpacing almost everybody remaining. So I'll include the link to this bracket in the description for you guys to go ahead and vote. Make sure you guys subscribe if you want a chance to win NCAA tournament tickets to the first round. Hopefully we can get to 1,000 subscribers by February 20th. I need your guys' help. Hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to leave your comments and reactions in the comment section below. And thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it.